A dangerous day ahead, folks, with a widespread upgrade for a moderate risk for severe storms across 9 states. And this will impact up to 88 million people, folks. So this is a serious day. It should be a major tornado outbreak unfolding, unfortunately, this afternoon, heading into the overnight time frame. So let's delve into the details and highlight the tornado front. And this is one of the biggest patched risk I've ever actually seen. This is that red shaded area of 15% patched risk, basically implying within these corridors, the atmosphere is favorable to seeing a strong tornado of that EF2, possibly higher caliber. The Storm Prediction Center, unfortunately, has used the word violent and long track tornadoes within their morning update. So this is a serious situation, folks, extending from the northern mode of Des Moines back into Springfield, all the way up into portions of St. Louis, extended into Memphis, and that actually extends into Paducah. So this whole area needs to be on high alert for that potential of strong tornadoes this afternoon into the overnight time frame. This is a long duration event, and these winds are going to be packing a punch as well. So especially in this northern branch, this northern corridor, some of these winds could be easily approaching 75 miles an hour, if not even higher, as we get into the afternoon time frame. And the problem with these storms, these are going to be screaming across easily 50 to 60 mile per hour movement. Some of these on the northern side could approach 80 mile per hour movement. So you're going to have little to no warning. We're probably going to have a tornado watch issued by that noon time frame. And this just goes deeper into the evening, with the most favored time appears to be like, say, 2 to maybe midnight time frame, going into the overnight hours, and becomes more of a nocturnal threat. And the large hail is prevalent as well. So definitely a huge concern within this whole area of all modes are on the table for, and all hazards as well, for a widespread, unfortunately, severe weather outbreak and tornado outbreak. And then there's a cold sector aside of it too. On the northwest side, we've got blizzard warnings happening right now in portions of the Dakotas, and heavy snow unfolding in portions of Minnesota again. So if you are new to the channel and would like a weather station, I do recommend the Tempest Weatherflow weather station. It's the one I personally use for the last 3 years, and I do have a discount code that you can use for 10% off and free shipping. It's all solar, and it comes with a convenient app, and it only takes about 10 minutes to install. So here's my link, and I'll have it in the description below, so you can actually click on it and possibly order one for yourselves. But let's get back to business with the overall helicity index. And this is extreme, folks. This is one of the main reasons why the Storm Prediction Center has upgraded with the new high resolution guidance. I mean, this is kind of scary, folks, when you see something like this in such a widespread event extending from essentially far east Texas. It includes portions of Louisiana, Arkansas, portions of Mississippi, portions of Alabama, Tennessee, Kentucky, Missouri, all the way up into Illinois. Especially portions of Iowa here. That extends even to southern portions of Michigan, extended into the overnight time frame in Indiana, Kentucky. It does include even portions of Ohio on a weakening phase, and this won't be until probably after midnight time frame. But all these areas need to be on high alert because it has extreme updraft potential, and that's why that has that huge area of just severe storms. So obviously this whole area will be very windy, and that's why they have those wind advisories in place, if not high wind warnings. But to the north side of there, that's where the snowstorm is breaking out. We've got widespread winter storm warnings, and those are blizzard warnings happening right now into the Dakotas, back into Minnesota. So some of these areas easily 6 to 10 inches of snow. Marquette, Michigan could pick up 12 to 18 inches of snow from this system But yes, blizzard warnings happening up here in the Dakotas as well on the northern side. And I don't really share the storm, the signature parameters too much, but this is definitely scary, folks. I mean, when you see something like that, when the chart only goes to 10, and we're talking approaching 30 up here in such a widespread area, that's a huge concern. So we have an extreme situation that's going to be unfolding into the afternoon time frame, into the evening time frame overnight. So let's really break this thing down for you. So let's stop the clock around noon going into 1 o'clock. I think this is when they'll have the tornado watches already in place. So this is the new high resolution latest guidance up here in far northeast Texas and East Texas. That's the southern mode that should break out with showers and thunderstorms. So those should turn severe, and some of those isolated discrete supercells. But down here in Arkansas, you have to be concerned about all three modes by that 1 o'clock time frame, extending into Missouri and reaching into portions of southeastern Iowa. But as we go into that 3 o'clock time frame, this is that first initial banding. So we'll have that southern mode really start to elongate and really start to break out, and then the northern branch. So this is when this area has to be on high alert for very intense winds. Some tornadoes could be stronger tornadoes within the northwestern portions of Illinois, as well as into southeastern portions of Iowa. That is around the 3 o'clock time frame. But then as we go into the 7 o'clock time frame, there's a secondary piece of energy that comes out of portions of southeastern Iowa into northwestern parts of Illinois. So when you're done with the first batch, you're not done with the system. There's another backside system that comes in. So this is going to be a two-prong approach up here with all three modes on the table going into that 3, even into that 7 o'clock time frame. So this is a long duration event. And then you have the southern flank really start to elongating into, this is when we could start to include some of those long track, potentially violent tornadoes as we get deeper into the evening time frame, as we head towards dark. So as we go into that 11 o'clock time frame, it's really not until then where I think the northern branch and the southern branch actually try to catch up with each other and try to congeal together. But there's going to be pretty much isolated scenario essentially from that 1 o'clock, all the way up until at least 11 or 12. So you got a good 10-hour window there of discrete supercells, long track potential tornadoes could unfold, and then widespread, big hail potential, as well as the wind is going to be cranking as well as these move into the evening time frame. And here's the 7 o'clock time frame. So it lasts all night long, eventually headed up into Ohio. It's a little bit of a weakening phase, but still packing a punch going into the early morning hours, even into tomorrow morning on your Saturday. So by then, they'll be in portions of Pennsylvania. They'll be in upstate New York. And then the damaging wind threat will be fishtail and southbound across a good part of the southeast, as these will continue to rake across. And these areas up here into Wisconsin, back into southeastern Iowa, even portions, I can't rule out of portions of northern Illinois, you could actually end with some snowflakes tomorrow morning on the backside after you see possible tornadoes well ahead of it. In the warm sector, going to be in the low 60 dew points. Crazy to see it all ends, but the potential snow on the backside, that just shows you how dynamic this system really is with these powerful upper level lows. And then headed into tomorrow morning, you still have a slight risk. So, but even when these storms even get into the Pittsburgh area, back into good part of Pennsylvania, all the way up into Buffalo and Albany, yeah, that's not snow, folks. That's widespread heavy winds, 60-mile-per-hour winds, 65-mile-per-hour winds. The severe threat will be over your neck of the woods by then. And then really along the coast, back into Boston, into Providence, into New York City, those winds are going to be at least 50 to possibly 60 miles an hour. Some of these could be some severe storms with the elevated winds all the way extended into the Raleigh area, into the Columbia area, back into Charleston, Wilmington, and going all the way down further south just southeast of the Atlanta area. But then it doesn't end there, folks. We've got spring is very active. This is even crazier heading into next week. So it settles down. We got a nice, after that moves out for Saturday, going into the Saturday afternoon time frame. Sunday's a little bit of a calmer day. We might have some stronger storms, probably maybe not severe, back into Texas and portions of Oklahoma. And then you really start heating up on the southern flank going into Monday and to Tuesday time frame for the southern plains. But we have another powerful low pressure center moving across, and this thing really wraps up, really deepens. Most guidance has this below a 980 low pressure, and it almost looks like a hurricane, folks. Going into Tuesday, very high winds. We'll have blizzard-like conditions again back into the Dakotas with heavier snows, again, portions of Minnesota. And then you have that southern flank as well with more severe storms. So here's the surface map. You know, heading into that, this is that Tuesday time frame of next week. This is April the 4th. So, wow, we've got an intense low pressure center by then. It's almost like a deja vu type scenario with more heavy snows where the blizzard warnings are happening right now. You're probably going to get reissued with more blizzard warnings headed up into your Tuesday time frame, and then more snow really cranking out into portions of Minnesota. And that low really starts to deepen. You got a lot of high winds, really intense winds in this region. And further to the south, unfortunately, a lot of the same areas that get impacted today could get re-impacted going into Tuesday. So it really starts again far northeastern portions of Texas, back into portions of good part of Arkansas, northern portions of Mississippi, western Tennessee, western Kentucky, all of Missouri here, back into Illinois, portions of Iowa, going into Indiana again. So it's almost like, again, a deja vu type scenario, unfortunately, unfolding going even into that Tuesday time frame. So I'm going to be back around 3 o'clock doing live coverage on this severe weather outbreak and tornado outbreak and blizzard happening across the northern plains there. So catch me back up then, where I protect you before and after the storm.